Director Patel, FBI agents pledge their loyalty to the Constitution of the United States, not you personally. What is the basis for requiring polygraph exams of your workforce and asking them if they've made negative comments about you?
I don't know what reports you're referring to, Ranking Member, and I reject any reporting that has false information in it, so I'm not going to respond to that.
Did you or Attorney General Bondi provide any individual with a waiver so they could remain employed after they received disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
I'll have to get back to you.
You don't remember that? You terminated these two agents. Why?
I'm not going to get into personnel decisions that we made.
So you're not accountable for your decisions to take people who served our country so admirably and terminate them without any cause?
That's a one-sided story.
Excuse me, it's disgraceful when Mr. Meyer and Mr. Giardina, who served our country so well, are terminated apparently because of the rants of a broadcaster.
That is your opinion. It is not a fact.
From the very first seconds Kash Patel began sweating under Senator Durbin's withering glare, this self-proclaimed anti-deep state warrior was ruthlessly exposed not as a reformer but as a power-hungry tyrant, turning the FBI into his personal revenge squad.
After meeting with Kash Patel, I have grave concerns about his fitness for the role of FBI director. Mr. Patel has neither the experience, the temperament, or the judgment to lead the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He is a staunch political loyalist who has repeatedly peddled false conspiracy theories and threatened to retaliate against those who have slighted him personally and politically.
War heroes who risked everything for this country are being thrown out like trash, while loyal agents are forced into humiliating polygraph witch hunts just to prove they haven't criticized their dear leader. This is the disturbing reality unfolding at the highest levels of the FBI under Patel's watch, a toxic culture of fear and retribution that threatens the very foundation of American law enforcement. Durbin didn't just question him, he exposed the ugly truth behind the carefully crafted image. And as you'll see, this is only the beginning of Patel's disturbing pattern of evasion and abuse of power. What Durbin uncovers next will leave you questioning everything about who really controls the FBI today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, in addition to the extensive purge of nonpartisan career FBI official reports indicate that dozens of remaining officials have been subjected to polygraph exams to test their loyalty. My understanding is that approximately 40 officials have been asked to sit for a polygraph during your administration, and several have been asked whether they have ever made negative comments about you. Director Patel, FBI agents pledge their loyalty to the Constitution of the United States, not you personally. What is the basis for requiring polygraph exams of your workforce and asking them if they've made negative comments about you?
I don't know what reports you're referring to, Ranking Member, and I reject any reporting that has false information in it, so I'm not going to respond to that. As far as polygraphs go, generally they are always and always have been utilized at the FBI to track down those that leak sensitive information and have unauthorized disclosures to the media, and we will continue to use them to ensure the integrity of the FBI.
Did any individual on your senior executive team, the director's advisory team, or who serve in the positions on the 7th floor receive disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the personnel discussions that were had on a polygraph. Those are private discussions, and many of them relate to ongoing investigations.
Did you or Attorney General Bondi provide any individual with a waiver so they could remain employed after they received disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
I'll have to get back to you.
You don't remember that?
No, sir. My priority is protecting the American public, not getting into the weeds of polygraphs.
And to have a decent memory when you come before a committee.
I'm happy to talk about all the good work the men and women of the FBI are doing, including provided the lowest crime rate in American history. If you want to talk about how to protect the citizens, Chicago has seen a 30% reduction in its murder rate because of the men and women of the FBI.
You take credit for that?
I'll happily do that. The interagency partners and the men and women of the Chicago PD have never been more powerful.
Include local law enforcement, please.
Have you ever seen my testimony across this country where I always lead with our interagency partnerships with state and local law enforcement? It is the pillar of what I am doing. And on the 7th floor, for the first time in FBI history, I have installed police officers and sheriffs right on my 7th floor to report to us every day what's going around the country on the street level, because that is a priority of the FBI and is the only way we are going to work. I don't take credit for anything, but I will defend the men and women of the FBI and the cops that help us get it done.
First, he says he doesn't recognize the reporting at all, flat denial. Then, just seconds later, he confirms the exact practice the reporting described: polygraphs, loyalty screening, and an FBI leadership floor running background checks on itself. He didn't actually dispute the substance, he disputed the source, then quietly validated the claim anyway.
I thought that we were going to be able to come in with the movement that President Trump came in with, the administration, to fix the errors that the leadership of the FBI previously made.
But it's the question about waivers that should send chills down your spine. A polygraph disqualifying alert isn't a formality, it's the system flagging a serious credibility or security concern. Durbin isn't asking about a rumor, he's asking whether Patel or the Attorney General personally overrode that red flag to keep specific people employed. The answer wasn't no, the answer was I'll have to get back to you, followed immediately by my priority is protecting the American public, a shameless pivot that completely dodged the question.
Multiple whistleblowers have disclosed to my staff highly credible information indicating that Mr. Kash Patel has been personally directing the ongoing purge of senior law enforcement officials at the FBI. KP wants movement at FBI, reciprocal actions for DOJ. If these allegations are true, then Mr. Patel may have committed perjury before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
That's twice now Patel has been asked a direct yes or no and answered with a rehearsed mission statement. Instead, this is the pattern of a man who knows he cannot defend his actions under oath, and trust me, it only gets worse when they start asking about the Epstein files.
Director Patel, to your knowledge, did a whistleblower ever make a disclosure to Attorney General Bondi indicating that the New York field office was withholding Epstein-related records?
I'm not familiar with that whistleblower.
You know that there was such a whistleblower?
I'm not familiar with that whistleblower.
In response to the blowback she received, Attorney General Bondi also pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July, when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memorandum stating there is no incriminating client list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Why was it unsigned?
The memorandum had the insignia of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And in our effort to secure transparency for the American people, because the three prior administrations had not done so, we conducted an exhaustive search of everything related to the Epstein cases, and we produced what was legally and permissibly able to be produced to Congress and the American public.
So
and there's a congressional subpoena, and we're continuing to do so.
Did you personally direct that investigation so that you would sign such a...
Did I personally direct what investigation?
Of the Epstein records for any reference to President Trump?
Again, you are citing reporting that I think is baseless. We conducted an investigation of the Epstein case files pursuant to the direction of the President of the administration to provide all credible information, and we are working with Congress pursuant to a congressional subpoena to turn over all the documents we can. All individuals.
Who at DOJ and FBI was responsible for its drafting and conclusions?
Many individuals at the Department of Justice and the FBI are responsible.
There was no lead person?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice, and I lead the FBI.
So the Attorney General was responsible for that?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice.
Now we get to the heart of the matter. The Jeffrey Epstein files. A whistleblower warned that the New York field office was deliberately withholding critical Epstein records instead of full transparency. Attorney General Bondi ordered a rushed review of over 100,000 documents with one very suspicious instruction: flag anything mentioning Donald Trump. Then months later they dropped an unsigned memorandum claiming there was no incriminating client list. An unsigned memo. No one takes responsibility. No lead investigator named, just a vague institutional shield. This is textbook damage control. Patel claims he's the most transparent FBI director in history, yet when directly asked who was responsible for this whitewash, he hides behind many individuals, and the Attorney General leads the department. Classic buck passing. Why the frantic rush to flag Trump's name? Why the unsigned conclusion clearing everyone? And why is Patel suddenly unfamiliar with a whistleblower complaint that reached the Attorney General? This isn't transparency. This is a coordinated cover-up operation happening right under Congress's nose. Patel isn't draining the swamp, he's protecting it.
Morale has never been lower. This purge has dramatically weakened the FBI's ability to combat national security threats. Mr. Patel's record demonstrates that he's dangerous, inexperienced, and dishonest. He should not and cannot serve as an effective FBI director. Director Patel, much like you, Deputy Director Dan Bongino was a conspiracy theorist who built a lucrative career making inflammatory and unsubstantiated statements about the FBI that would be disqualifying in any administration that cared about nonpartisan law enforcement. For instance, Mr. Bongino called the placement of pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 6, quote, an inside job, and went on to say this was a setup. I have zero doubt, and whoever goes into the FBI, you better get an answer about why. Director Patel, you and Deputy Director Bongino are now leading the FBI. What is the evidence to suggest the pipe bombs placed outside of the DNC and RNC on January 6 were an inside job?
I appreciate the opportunity to discuss Director Bongino's mine record. So many on this committee and the media jettison our 31 years of public service.
Can you answer the question, sir?
I'm answering the question. You're questioning the integrity of the deputy director of the FBI and mine.
If you found any
and I'm going to
evidence.
answer the question. The pipe bomb investigation is ongoing, and I'm not going to discuss the details of the pipe bomb investigation. Mr. Bongino was a Secret Service agent for 15 years, a police officer for 5. I served this country in multiple administrations for 16 years. We were also private citizens, and we are now back in government service. And what we have the ability to do is set aside our personal beliefs to deliver the mission of justice for this country, and we're doing it day in and day out. And I find it disgusting that everyone and anyone would jettison our 31 years of combined experience that is now at the helm of the FBI, delivering historic results at historic speeds for the American people.
So you have no evidence?
I got a lot of evidence, and I'll give it to you when I can.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
This is where the scandal becomes truly dangerous. Senator Durbin directly confronted Kash Patel about his shocking decision to appoint Dan Bongino, a loud conspiracy theorist who repeatedly called the January 6 pipe bombs an inside job and a deliberate setup. Now this same man is second in command of the FBI. When asked for any evidence to support that explosive accusation, Patel offered nothing, no proof, no updates on the investigation. Instead, he got defensive, lectured the committee about 31 years of experience, and attacked the question itself. He never denounced the conspiracy theory. He simply shielded his deputy. Think about the insanity of this situation. The man now helping run the FBI once accused the Bureau itself of staging a terrorist attack on American soil, and Kash Patel chose him deliberately. This isn't about bringing in fresh voices. This is about turning the FBI into an echo chamber of conspiracy theories and political revenge. A deputy director who believes the Bureau is the enemy now holds enormous power over major investigations, including the very pipe bomb case he called fake. Patel's FBI isn't being reformed, it's being radicalized from the top down. The mask is completely off. And what comes next makes this even more outrageous.
There's a New York Times story this morning about Chris Meyer. As I understand it, he was your personal pilot, at least for some period of time. Mr. Meyer has quite a record himself. Flew over 350 hours as an Air Force pilot on 3 aircraft types in Afghanistan. Mr. Jardina, another former FBI agent, a 1999 graduate of U.S. Naval Academy, commanded 100 Marines in combat during the 2003 invasion of Iraq, participated in several firefights, followed up with 2011 deployment as reservist to Afghanistan, where he interrogated senior Taliban officials. It appears that you terminated these 2 agents. Why?
I'm not going to get into personnel decisions that we made.
So you're not accountable for your decisions to take people who've served our country so admirably and terminate them without any cause?
That's a one-sided story. Anyone that has been terminated from the FBI, generally speaking, failed to meet the needs of the FBI and uphold their constitutional duties. And you providing a one-sided story from your perch is absolutely disgraceful, because the men and women of the FBI deserve better. And your attack on the current leadership of the men and women of the FBI is equally disgraceful, because now you're attacking the leaders that are our brave SACs in the field who are doing the job that this country needs.
It's disgraceful.
And we will continue to do it.
Excuse me, it's disgraceful when Mr. Meyer and Mr. Jardina, who served our country so well, are terminated apparently because of the rants of a broadcaster.
That is your opinion. It is not a fact.
Well, it's certainly my opinion. I can back up with fact. Let me ask you to explain the situation in Baltimore, if you will. Did you read the story about the termination of the project in Baltimore?
Which story?
764 group?
Sorry. Which story?
764 group, the Baltimore agents were investigating. Are you familiar with that?
No, sir.
Well, I'm not going to go into detail. It would take too long to do it. But apparently that this group, 764, a nihilistic, violent extremist group, seeks to blackmail children to perform vile acts on a camera under investigation by Baltimore, which was terminated by you. I'd like you to respond in writing, if you will, as to the circumstances of that termination.
Sure. Our operations against NVEs, as you're referring to, has been historically high, and we've taken down multiple NVE rings, including 764 rings, who are harming children and causing them to be mutilated and
Last question.
suicide.
Can you explain why you are eliminating the requirements for a college degree for your agents?
I appreciate the opportunity to address that. You said in your opening statement, we are reducing the training requirements at Quantico. We are not. We are expanding them. You are referring to an 1811 crossover program because I believe the men and women of places like the DEA, the ATF, and the Marshal Service and the Secret Service who want to work at the FBI should deserve that opportunity in a shortened bridged program, which we provided. We are also keeping the 18-week BFTC as is traditionally been held at the FBI. So we're not reducing any requirements. We are increasing those that we bring into the FBI.
Did you change any of the requirements on college degrees?
We are allowing police officers who have served for a number of years to come into the FBI who did not obtain the requisite college degree to apply to be federal agents because we feel they have the street level experience we need to conduct this mission.
I yield, Mr. Chairman.
By the end of this hearing, the picture is crystal clear and deeply disturbing. Kash Patel has turned the FBI into a personal loyalty operation, decorated combat veterans and experienced agents. Investigating real monsters like the violent 764 child exploitation network in Baltimore are being axed without explanation at the same time he's lowering professional standards to flood the Bureau with less qualified but more politically compliant recruits. This is not reform, this is the deliberate dismantling of a once independent institution so it can serve one man and one agenda. Patel dodged, deflected, and attacked every serious question. He showed zero accountability for destroying the careers of American heroes. He showed zero interest in protecting the most vulnerable victims still suffering because investigations were suddenly shut down. The message to every FBI agent is loud and terrifying: loyalty to Kash Patel matters more than duty, more than justice, and more than the Constitution. America did not vote for a weaponized FBI. We did not vote for a director who protects power instead of people. If this hearing doesn't alarm you, nothing will. The very agency meant to defend us is being corrupted from within. Drop your thoughts below. Do you still trust the FBI under Kash Patel? Share this video if you want the truth to reach more people. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we are not stopping the fight to expose what's really happening inside the FBI continues.